Oh, hello. I'm R.L. Stein. I write the Goosebumps books.
Viewer beware, you're in for a scare.
Let's begin the season 1 finale with the first episode being Say Cheese and Die. Greg, played by Ryan Gosling, Doug, who for some reason goes by Bird, and Sherry come to an old warehouse where a weirdo named Spidey, because of his glasses, get it? He runs out like whatever he was doing, and they get inside, and he's pretty much a mad scientist as Greg accidentally reveals a part of the wall that looks like something Batman and Robin would have on set of the old Adam West TV show. It's a Polaroid camera. Okay, kids, let's have a little history time. Polaroid cameras, no, not that misfortune of a fuck-up, was actually a giant camera, not the one that he has, that actually prints out in front of you and actually came with a catchy song when really you didn't need to shake it. All you needed was light. We've been lied to for years. The case has been closed. Greg takes Bird's picture as he falls off the railing and onto some cardboard. I also like how Greg and Sharon run almost up to the steps and not towards him, like they were gonna get up and get him, like with some rope. They go to leave only to be caught by Spidey, and for some reason fall down onto the cardboard as well. What the fuck? And they manage to run outside the building as Greg realizes he took the camera and looks at the picture that he took, which shows Bird falling before it actually happened. But in reality, when he took the picture, Bird was juggling. Greg gets home and sees his dad's new car, and his brother, Terry, wants the picture of him in front of it, as Greg agrees to, and when he takes a picture, it shows that the car is smashed to fuck. Greg starts to act weird as it says they should go and take it for a test drive, and they all go. Just kind of saying this now since we're kind of now being introduced to the camera. It's kind of like this, how I think it should work, because later on it does work, but this second photo doesn't really work. Just like how Bird fell, Terry could have been the one to crash the car, taking it for a spin, taking it out just to test it, instead of Dad crashing it, which is later on, but what the fuck ever. Or what happens to it later on that actually does not show in the picture, like how the other two pictures actually happen to the people later on, but not in this particular photo. It would make sense for later on instead of just this one, because I get it, Dad's car. But, the person in front of it, I think Terry should have been the one to have something happen to him. I mean, nothing against Terry and all, but it's just, it would have worked out better in the future. Greg begins to freak out a bit and goes to show his mom the picture as it flies out the window, and Greg cries out as the truck nearly hits them. Everyone's alright and not a scratch on the car, though, as Greg has a dream of them out having a barbecue where he takes a picture showing them all to be skeletons.
Reds!
Greg tells Bird about the photo, and Bird doesn't believe it, as the two boys, Joey from Suicide Squad and Jeff from Total Drama, and for some reason he's been in a few animes, and Mickey from You Can't Do That on Television. They take the camera as they go to take a picture, but Bird and Greg run off and escape from them. And what luck, it's Sherry's backyard. She tells them to take a picture of her as he does, and it doesn't show her, so they try again, but it's stopped as Terry brings some bad news, and that the dad is in a car accident. The car is totaled. And no, the dad only gets a broken foot, so lucky for him, but unlucky for what comes next with Sherry. The police come over to Greg's place asking about Sherry as it seems to have disappeared. They keep pressing the answers as Greg shows them the picture he took of her last night, which was nothing but a blank tree where she was leaning against. And it's nothing gained, so they just leave. The next day, Greg puts two and two together that the camera can tell the future and says that they should give it back to Spidey even though Bird doesn't want to because he says,
"We did not take the camera. You did. I'm not going back to that place. No way."
Dude, we all three went in there, so yeah. You're an accomplice, and you're going down with me. Late at night, Greg goes down to the building, and Sherry appears. She says that she was in her backyard, and she somehow walked out, but can't remember where she went. And she says that her parents believe that she left on purpose. Greg asks her when she got back, and she replies a few hours ago, which is when Greg ripped the photos up. Greg says he's gonna return the camera, as Sherry is like, I know, Bird told me, and I'm gonna come with you. Yeah, so I left my parents to fucking worry where the hell I actually was for this long-ass amount of time, and To make them worry even more, I just left them and came back to the place where I said I came back to. So Greg and Sherry get inside as Spidey goes up to them and starts talking nonsense and reveals the camera is evil and it predicts the future and that he's the one who made it. It's also unbreakable, so it's an IKEA version. And he tells Greg he's not allowed to leave because he knows too much. So that makes Bird and Sherry okay to leave? Spidey and Greg start to fight as Sherry takes a picture of him, trapping him inside his own creation. Mickey and Joey sneak in the place and find the camera as Joey's picture is taken, which releases Spidey back into the world. So what, he was trapped in the camera for like a day or two? Next up, we have another two-part series, and this one is The Night in Terror Tower. The first thing we are greeted by is our boy Stein RL, as he hints our main kids for the day, Sari and Eddie, are visiting, funny enough, the torture chamber, as he implies that they're gonna die. And we cut to just that, people being dragged to be executed. They let people show being murdered and in chains, but they won't show a fucking haunted doll. But apparently it's fake, and it's for a place in Britain called Terror Tower, which Eddie wants to go to but since it's a tour, they probably won't be able to. Or they do, because the tour guide actually says,
"All right, tourists, I'm afraid we're running out of museums."
Considering I have no clue what part of Britain this is, I'm gonna let you off very nicely. Because I still have no clue what part of Britain this is, and that might be the case.
Wanker.
But Eddie might be seeing a spirit as a ghost appears on the top of the tower yelling for them to run, but they go in anyway. They go to the top of the tower. The tour guide calls the guards and the door is locked as the tour guide tells them that everyone's going to stay tonight because they're prisoners and they're tortured until they say what they've done to be on the tour for real. Because... fuck you.
Did he say tortured?
Take them away.
Just a little Terror Tower joke.
You just got pranked, bro.
We Brits have to have...
Yep, it's all a prank, and they continue on the tour as Eddie has a bad feeling. Sue tries to take Eddie's pictures as Sue sees the executioner move towards her. Eddie gets fed up with her waiting as he leaves. Sue goes to see if she's seen things as he goes to attack her again, missing as Eddie comes back, as so does the tour group who shuns them, and they continue on. They finally make it to the top. The tour guide does tell them a story about a young prince and princess who were brought up here and killed. Why? So they couldn't take the throne. Eddie and Sue go inside one of the rooms as on the wall is scratched, "Long live freedom." But suddenly lightning! They see the prisoner spirit and walk out to the group gone, and Eddie beginning to freak out. They go to catch up with the group when the man in Zorro attire and tells them that they can't leave as he begins to do weird magic.
Santa Rita, Mita Maida, Ringo Jonah, Tito Marlin, Jack LaToya, Janet Michael, Dumbledore the Explorer. Santa Rita, Mita Maida, Ringo Jonah, Tito Marlin, Jack LaToya, Janet Michael, Dumbledore the Explorer.
The kids run to the dungeon, bumping into the mannequins as they believe it's all an act when Zorro comes up and Eddie is grabbed, and Sue uses the mannequin arm to knock him over as they hide in a hidden passage and go through. Sue drops their camera, but no time for that. Eddie nearly gets captured again as bats, I'm not kidding, literal bats come and attack him. The kids go and leave through the grate.
Well, the bus waited for us.
I mean, technically, I wouldn't be wrong regardless if they're the past or the present because, butterfly effect and, past is still affecting the future and the future is not affecting the past, so. They get out of the sewer only to be stopped by a guard as they tell him a man was chasing them and just kind of assumes the tower, like they never said it was the tower, but maybe the sewer always connects through there. I'm grasping at straws here. Also realize the tour group kind of just left without two kids and the parents can now sue. The kids try and make the guard believe them as he calls the police. They call a cab and it takes them to their hotel. But when they arrive, Sue goes to give him some change. And he's like, "Am I a fucking idiot? British pound, you twit." And Sue's like, "But Mom and Dad gave it to us." Also, where are their parents? They go to ask for their parents at the front desk. But there is no meeting that they said they were going to be at. Yeah, so the parents aren't there and there is no room reserved for them. And the driver's looking for them. Gotta go. They go inside a fancy restaurant in the hotel as the snooty butler's like, "Coat, sir." And Sue's like, "Fuck your coat." They sneak in anyway. Now both the cab driver and the butler can see you. Just get out of there. They order some food as they slowly forgetting things like their names and like where the room key is, or even that their parents looked like, and so forth. They rightfully freak out as they begin to see things. The two are spotted by the cab driver and they run to the kitchen. Why is everyone going to the kitchen? Go outside!
So funny.
That jacket.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, hi, Zorro. How the hell did you find us? Or does, the sewer run through to the hotel? Zorro tells Eddie to give him back his rocks. Can you not make any more, or is those the only you have? But, Zorro begins the ritual again and teleports, separating Sue and Eddie as Sue looks around and finds that they aren't in 1996 anymore.
I smell evil. Evil. All around you. Your time is coming, dearie.
Lady, you have no idea what I've been through for the past 24 hours. I've had a shower. I've lived in a bed. I've walked through paved roads. I've seen you've made your point. Yeah, and for some reason, they gather in a circle and point at her, muttering, I don't know, something about prunes, and Zorro comes along to take Sue. And naturally, Sue runs and hides, thankfully to some lady, but she actually snitches her out. They take her to the tower where Eddie is, and they're locked up in the room as the top of the tower, where a guy is there calling them Prince and Princess. He tells them his name is Mordred, hi, and that he's the king's sorcerer, as they are Prince and Princess of York, and casts a spell on them to help them escape and send them to the future where their memories weren't complete, so they can't remember their other parents' names. The parents are dead, and so Zorro, who is apparently their uncle, because you can never have any nice uncles or aunts in these kids' stories, he's made himself king and wants them dead so he can be the only ruler. A few things to point out in this. 1, they were teleported somewhere, but 2, the parents that you gave them to or had them with took them here to Britain, so blame them. Number 2, if their memories came back at some point, couldn't they have just left, and still had their memories, but, whatever, they didn't have to be found by Zorro at this point? 3, still, blame the fucking parents, or actually, if you could have done it better, you could have been like, hey, make sure they never go to Britain, even in their lifetime, because some awful shit happened, or maybe 2, have it be like, hey, this whole family is, banned from the country, Britain, all on its own for insert stupid reason here. And number 4, you could have, and I am saying this now, you could have made sure they had some hatred for Britain, just no reason whatsoever, a little kitty memory of, something terrible happened where they just never want to go. It's pretty damn simple, and yet you made it so fucking hard. And yeah, 2 guards come in and are like, you're both gonna be beheaded. Have fun. They remember everything and get British accents.
Now I remember. So do I.
They walk to the dungeon, and at least one question is answered on why they can't go back in time again. It's because of the white rocks.
Do with me as you must, but first allow me to send them into the future. What harm can they possibly do you there?
And allow them to grow up and become strong, to find a way to return and take their revenge? I think not.
I don't know if it was just me thinking this or not, but considering that you two still are technically royals of, your uncle, you can actually inherit his riches, inherit his kingdom, inherit the land, and so you can basically say, hey, now I'm the ruler now, bitch, so guess who's laughing? Also, why didn't you just send the king back further in time? Because actually, well, thinking about it, Britain's not in a terrible place. I don't really know their economics because no one stopped him from ruling over. That means he ruled it how it was up till now and to this very point in time. So if he's a bad guy, he wanted to be ruler and kill the kids. I get it. You didn't want the kids killed and you wanted them to be out of the way of your uncle. But you still let him rule, and you still allowed him to do whatever until what Britain was now. So Eddie runs up to Zorro, begging not to be killed. As it turns out, it was a trick, and he gives the stones back to Mordred and sends him back to the future. They woke up in the future as guard gets them up, and as the tour guide yells at them, But also, guess who arrives?
I'm afraid it's my fault.
So do you guys remember how the uncle was a bad guy? Yeah, how did we forget the uncle was a bad guy? Why did we just, all three of us, by the way, leave the uncle to kind of rule over? I guess technically you could say, well, he kind of made England what it is today. But at the same time, wasn't he evil? Didn't he want to rule England? Why did we allow him to stay in England? Well, I guess now you can actually take the throne by saying, hey, we're rich now. We're actually part of the royal blood. Hand over the property and or money. And we get a little funny twist at the end with the White Rocks going missing, which Mordred blames Eddie on. But it actually turns out to be one guy in particular who actually did do it. Sure, why not? Okay, Zorro, come back to the future because, killing his kids was so important instead of, wanting the land that you actually wanted. Maybe he had the bright idea that maybe they were going to take back the land, but who cares? At this point, you'd been dead and no one would have cared. And my poor boy, Steinford Darrell, is still stuck in that tower forever. The last one up, the Werewolf of Fever Swamp.
Hello, I'm R.L. Stine. I write the Goosebumps books.
Werewolves, werewolves, werewolves. Grady and the family move into a rustic home, and yeah, it's pretty much in need of a touch-up. Emily, his sister, scream because there's a corn snake in a medicine cabinet, and she doesn't want to live there anymore. Grady is told to set the snake free by the swamp. Yeah, it wasn't because the blood stain on the wall, the mold that was growing everywhere. No, it's the fucking corn snake in the medicine cabinet. Of course. So Grady takes the snake out into the woods and gets lost because he's spooked by the noises around him. Or it'd be like a normal person and put the snake outside the garden and by the first tree. He'll make it back home. There are a ton of dead leaves to hide him. And he bumps into some random guy. But it cuts to Emily and Grady talking about not liking the place. Okay. Snakes in the medicine cabinet. Happens. This is an old, decrepit house. Strangers outside walking in these woods. Okay, it's their land, whatever. There are going to be people around that you don't know because you just lived here. Spiders in your cream. No, that does not. No, that's time to move. So the family actually owns some deer that they are tagging and researching, as Grady's like, I don't like this place, and Dad's like, but the deer have never seen the swamp area before. And Grady's like, how do you know that? And he's like slapping him because good boys don't question. He didn't do that, but I kind of wish that would happen. Later that night, Grady tries to get the TV to work, but can't, as he just realizes that this place sucks and goes upstairs. The next day, as Grady is playing wall ball, he comes across a new friend, Will, and he tells Grady that they're the only kids around there. Wait, how old are both of these? Because Garrett looks like he could be 13 or 14, and Will looks like he could be kind of 16. After some failed small talk and trying to do something, Will asks if he's gotten lost in the woods, which Grady says yes, and he is told that some people sometimes go into the woods and never come back, and the reason why the house was so cheap was because of an old woman that owned it went into the woods and never came out. So the smartest thing to do after hearing that story is to go right inside the woods. It's called Fever Swamp because if you stay in there for too long in the fucking swamp, you can boil alive. A noise is heard and they both make a run for it. They hide behind a tree as the hermit from earlier comes out, and Will tells Grady that he's the reason why everyone's disappearing, but it can't be proved. Also, he's a werewolf because he howls, and no one else howls like that, so he must be one. But look out, because it's a full moon out tonight. The family talks a little bit as Emily wants to go in town, Dad says no, Mom asks about the neighborhood boy, and Brady's like, he aight. He also tells them that Will told him, and Dad's like, but science is key, and fuck your story, because there's been no proof of one. There's your science. Grady wakes up in the middle of the night with a severe case of the bed sweats and thinks it's swamp fever. He looks outside to see the deer in distress, goes to lock the doors in the house. Dumbass, you should have done that beforehand. And last door to lock is the back, which is cracked open, so naturally something jumps out at him, but it's not a werewolf, it's a cute little puppy dog. Also, when Grady is screaming, no one rushes down there. It's 3 a.m. Keep your blood-curdling screams to a low volume. Grady asks to keep the pup, and the dad's like, maybe, but we gotta know if he's got an owner or not.
Excuse me, doesn't anyone care about what I think?
The mom brings out a telescope because tonight's a lunar eclipse. Also, the dog's name's Vandal because he vandalized the house. Wouldn't it be better to call him Barker because he broke into the house, or because one of you is a dumbass that didn't lock the door? The hell is wrong with you people still? That bothers the living shit out of me. As they go deeper into the woods, they find some stuff tied to trees that Will says is werewolf repellent.
What's this stuff tied to the trees? Wolfsbane. It's supposed to ward off werewolves. Of course, educated people know it doesn't work.
It's not revealed to us what can actually hurt werewolves because Silver can't kill them and neither can repel it, as Will says that they should go back because he doesn't know the part of the area, and Grady falls down the hill. He catches himself on a tree root as below is a pit of mud or some quicksand and goes to help. Or more storytelling, as he says that it's the heart of the swamp and a kid died in it. Cool story, bro. Stupidly, Will sticks his hand down to test how deep the water is. He fakes that he is stuck and pulls up a chute. Vandal begins barking and they think they're being watched as they run out of the swamp and back home, where Emily is upset because she found a dead bunny.
It's that stupid dog, I know it is. We should have taken it right to the pound when we found it.
You're a fucking asshole.
Can someone just kill her, please? It's a fucking bunny. What if the dad killed it? What if mom? Or the plot fucking said so? They show Grady the bunny and how it was mauled along with a bunch of animals last night. So foxes, coyotes, bears, mountain lions, a number of animals that could have killed this thing.
So what? It could have been anything. It could have been a wolf.
Grady, there are no wolves in the swamp.
How do you know?
I think these parents need their science degrees taken away because, hell, canines are bears, wolves, foxes, and multiple other things like I had named before. So, it could have been a multiple number of things. It's a fucking rabbit. Do you know why they kill them? Because they move, and they're fast animals. So, that means we have to kill the doggy, right? Nope, because he's being a good hunter dog. And you're studying fucking deer. Why do you care about a rabbit? And also, the lunar eclipse for some reason. You know what's even more fucked up? The dad's like, we could get you a new dog, Grady. And Grady's like, fuck that noise. This dog is talented as shit. And leaves. Will and Grady go looking for the hermit's cabin to prove that he's been doing the killings, which no one has been inside. So naturally, they find it and try to see if he's inside. And sure enough, he is, and he chases after them. Grady is caught in the trap, and Will leaves him as Grady is never seen again. JK. The hermit doesn't do anything to him really except eat a chicken leg in front of him, put his gun on the wall, and look at him, and he begins to howl at the giant orange moon as Grady escapes. He gets home and tries to convince his mom for them to leave, but there are no other cars because his sister and dad are using them. He tells her about the hermit.
He's a werewolf.
No. The correct answer is, I was captured in this man's trap, I was dragged to his home in the middle of the forest, and then I escaped, and he's most likely after me. They hear something get inside the cage as a deer goes through the window, and he goes after Vandal to find the cage ripped open and a deer dead.
Grady, go call the sheriff to get rid of that dog.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, Mom, 'cause the fucking dog did this. He fucking had no wounds whatsoever, cried out in the distance. He, broke the cage open and flung a deer through the window. Fuck you, Mom. Do you really just hate this damn dog so much? Clearly, the dog just picked it up and went, well, there you go. He locks his mom in the barn, extra points for Grady, as he calls for Vandal. He hears Will cry out and he goes to find him. He gets inside his house and he finds stuff ripped up and claw marks everywhere. And while this is happening, Emily gets home to find the house empty. Grady figures that the werewolf got Will as he heads to the swamp, when really the werewolf is with Emily as it chases her and she hides with her mom in the shed as it tries to break in, as it leaves when it hears Grady call out. Grady is chased by the werewolf as it's stuck in a trap, as the hermit comes up to see, and the hermit says that the werewolf killed its family. But in a twist, it was actually the deer, and the hermit is attacked. Oh shit, and he's actually killed. Oh fuck. Oh, that's unfortunate, as Grady runs away, nearly killed as the lunar eclipse happened, causing the werewolf to turn back, as it turns out to be our good pal Will. He tells him to run as he turns back with his wolf instincts and grabs Grady. Vandal comes to the rescue and pushes him into the heart of the swamp water and drowns. Not gonna lie, throughout this whole video, I got Pumpkinhead vibes.
Naturally, everything seems to be alright. The kids start school soon, the house is being redone, and there are meatballs. And still, the dad has the balls to say that what they seen and what happened and werewolves still don't exist. Okay, Dad, go to the heart of the swamp and find me Will's body to prove it, or shut up and not say a word about it. But even Emily and the mom don't even say a damn thing about it. Grady wakes up from a nightmare and sees it's a full moon and begins to howl at it. Is he a werewolf? Is he keeping the hermit's tradition because there are werewolf noises? Did anyone find the hermit's body? Well, in any case, we wrap it up with a little fun skit from Steiner RL.
Remember, there's no such thing as a werewolf. Time for me to say goodbye. Have a scary night, everyone.
Such a sassy little smile like, yeah, I know what I did. So this is the end of season 1. Season 2 will be out sometime. I don't have a correct date on when, so you'll have to wait on that. And also my parole will probably be hell. I don't know when that will happen, but be prepared for more videos, more reviews, and other sorts. And probably a new intro because I'm already tired of the new one, even though I put my heart and soul into it. That's life for you. Have a good one, and hopefully you'll stay tuned for season 2.